Let's bring in Loop Managing Partner Gene Munster. He's on the fast line tonight. Gene, always good to speak with you.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi there. As I understand it, Zhengzhou specifically produces more than 80% of the iPhone 14 and somewhere about 85% of the Pro. And so I'm wondering if you think will this impact holiday sales, or has all that stuff been made?
No, it hasn't been made. There right now, if you do order an iPhone, it's going to push just after the holiday. But what we've seen less about today and the friction today, the protest today, more about what's happened over the past month. Those lead times have gone from 3 to 4 weeks to 5 to 6 weeks. And those in part because of some of the shutdowns. And really, when you boil it all down, it's probably going to be just about 1.5%, maybe 2% negative impact on Apple's December quarter. And of course, to Tim's point, and I think Steve's as well, is that they'll just recoup these in the March quarter. It is the pain of December ultimately is the gain of March, but that gives some perspective about what this means. Those are two very important products, and they're difficult to get right now, and what's going on with China production isn't helping matters.
I understand this whole notion that you're going to order the phone, or the belief that you're going to order the phone anyway, so the sales will be gotten just, later. They're just sales not denied, but sales delayed. Does the changing economic environment change that calculus at all? I mean, if things are deteriorating, consumers get a little bit more concerned about their spending wherewithal, do some of those sales go away, you think?
Well, my answer today is different than if you'd have asked me the day before Apple reported their September quarter. And if you'd have asked me then, I would have said, yeah, you have to assume that we're going to see some impact. There will obviously be some impact if the consumer slows, but what we saw in September was remarkable. They had a massive comp, 47% growth comp on iPhone, and they grew 4%. That tells me that people still are gravitating to these products. And I think that every company won't be impacted by a slowdown, but I think Apple will actually do, despite their high-priced products, I think they'll actually do well. And I'll just point this out. For those who actually still go to stores, which is a small group of people, and those who go to malls, which probably is even a smaller group of people, go to the mall that has, go to the Apple store. I suspect that a large percentage of the people in the mall are going to be in that Apple store you're going to see over the weekend. And I think that's testimony to these products are still essentially the fabric of how people live their lives today. And yes, there are going to be bumps in the road, but I think that is one thing that I've learned more in the last couple of months.
Hey, Gene, when are we going to expect something coming out of Apple, whether it's artificial intelligence or VR? No one's talking about the car anymore, but when can we expect something exciting? I feel as if they're way behind the 8 ball on this.
Well, Steve, we just came out with our holiday buying guide, and as part of that, we put predictions about products that we expect next year, just to kind of have some fun with it. And one of them is these mixed reality glasses we think they're going to show around WWDC. Mark Gurman has talked a lot about this, done some great reporting on it. I agree with his reporting. Ultimately, I think we're going to see that headset. I think it's going to be for developers only, high price, but I think it's going to be an example where people step back and say, Apple's really innovating here. I think that is an exciting piece. And so I think that they're going to flex their muscle a little bit on innovation next year. It doesn't hit the income statement probably for a few more years, but they're not going away on this augmented reality theme despite all of the metaverse's issues.
All right, Gene, thank you.
Happy
Turkey Day.
Sounds like it needs a recall.
Gene Munster, I know, like a Mucinex kind of thing. Guy, what's the trade on Apple here?
Well, I mean, what Gene says is unfortunately true. I mean, there'll be millions of people tomorrow at Thanksgiving, and half of those people will be sitting around looking at their stupid Apple phones, which is, that to me is not particularly speak volumes about the fabric of the United States and I guess humanity at large. With that said, I think Tim is right. I think there will be better opportunities to buy the stock. It went from earnings from 144 down to 138, up to 158. Back to 138, and I think we're smack in the middle of the range. So I think you wait for a better entry point here.
Is it a value stock? Is it a value stock, Julie?
No, I mean, it's hard to argue that this is a value stock given that the growth is pretty challenging and it's a high-priced product. I agree that, look, if we can't buy the product today, you probably will buy it next quarter. But I wonder about that. I wonder about people who are like, hey, you've got an iPhone 12, I'm going to upgrade you to a 14 as your Christmas present. They don't have it. I don't think you come and buy them that 14 in March, right? It doesn't. And I think a lot of the challenge with Apple is that they haven't had a lot of innovation. So you don't have a ton of reason to upgrade your phones. So in an economic recession, you better believe that people aren't going to be buying $1,000 phones. Like, sorry, it's just not going to happen. So maybe we'll spend less time on our phones and I will finally be cheerful.